I'm going to now take you through the home value system that I created to help you price your home. This is going to give you some ninja skills to make sure that you can price your home for sale, because when we're finished, you're going to know exactly at what price to list your home at. You're going to know the average number of days that homes are on the market. Now, this is key because it's different than what realtors do. All realtors do is they look at the total number of inventory, how many homes that are out there for sale. But I'm going to show you how to look at how long homes have been taking to sell in your neighborhood. This is completely different because you're going to get in there and you're going to dig into the data. This is something that real estate agents are just frankly too lazy to do. You're going to be able to know if prices are going up or going down. You're going to be able to see these trend lines. And then when we're done here, like I said, you're going to be able to know more than any real estate agent about your neighborhood, about your house, about the area that you're selling your home in. You're going to know more than any real estate agent out there. So let's get started. So we're going to go to Zillow.com. That's what I found to be the best place to get this data. And you're going to enter in your home address here. So I just picked a home address here that I'm going to enter in, and I'm going to click on search. And this is going to bring back your search results. Now, once you're in here, you're going to change the listing type. And you want to make sure you want to get everything that's for sale. You want to get everything that's for sale by agent, for sale by owner. You can even put in new homes if you want. I usually leave those out. Go ahead and add the foreclosures in there. Coming soon, that's usually going to be 0, but you can go ahead and leave that blank as well. And then most importantly, you want the recently sold. This is going to bring up the homes that were sold in the last couple of years, sometimes 3 years even. So once you have that search result in there, I got my home that I'm going to gather here. Actually, let me go back down here. There we go. And let's go build our spreadsheet. So I already have the spreadsheet built out to make sure that it's easier for you, but I'll go through the different fields that I've added here. So the first field is going to be your neighborhood. So this can be your subdivision. This could be a condo complex. Whatever it is that identifies your neighborhood. It could even be a zip code or a town name. This is a self-identifier field for you because you want to look not only in your local neighborhood, but also just a little bit outside there, wherever you think people are going to be looking for a house when they're looking at yours. The next is the address. The reason to do this, you want to make sure that you just capture the address, have that information. I like to also capture the link to the listing. This, in case I have any questions later, I can just simply click on the link and go back to it. The price, you're going to capture the price either that the home sold for, if it's already sold, or that it's listed for. You're going to record the square foot because you want to note, you want something around your size, but you also want to look at a range of square feet as well. The number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms. And those are optional fields. I like to gather them because I like to look at as much data as possible. Sometimes I just kind of geek out on this stuff. If the house is sold already, you want to go ahead and get the date that it was sold. If it has, in either case, you want to get the date that it was listed for sale. So you want to know how long it's been on the market. And then once you know these two dates for houses that are sold, you'll be able to see how quickly they sold their house. You'll also want to put a little notes field or a special field here, and that way you can come in here and you can note anything that's special. They have a pool, it's a foreclosure, anything that's special that would substantially make the price go up or down. This is not a place for they have granite countertops or something like that, because that's only going to make a few $1,000s difference at the most. And then we're going to be calculating the price per square foot, the average price per square foot, and the days on market. And I'll show you those calculations here in just a second. And then I also have a field here at the end called similar. And so I just put an X in there if that house is really similar to mine. So if it's got, similar square feet, similar bedrooms and bathrooms, similar area, and, a lot of things look very close to mine because that's a true comparable or a comp. All right, so you have these fields. I'm using Microsoft Excel. You can use any spreadsheet document that you want. I highly recommend using a spreadsheet document. Apple has one, I know. Google has a free one if you go just search for googledocs.com and you can do all this. So I'm going to go get my data. So let's go back over to Zillow here. And I do strongly suggest that you sign up for an account because you can see I have some little hearts in here and I have others that are hidden. Every time you record one of these, you're going to go ahead and hit save. That way you know that you've already recorded this one and you don't double record it. Just a little tip to make this go faster. Now you want to gather about 50 data points. Don't just stop at 50. You want to gather everything within your neighborhood and then maybe look at one or two neighborhoods outside of yours depending on the layout of your town or your area that you're in. So let's go ahead and start gathering the data here. So I'm going to gather my address first. I'm doing a Control-C to copy it. Come back over here. Add that in. Now you'll notice I double clicked in there and added that. If I didn't double click, you'd see it's really big and ugly. So I just double click and add that in there. Next I'm going to grab the link. So I got the link. Now let's go look at the price. So this one's being sold for $324,900. And then I'll go back and get the square feet. All right, so this is 2383 square feet, 4 bedroom, 2 baths. Okay, now this house hasn't sold yet. It's still for sale, so I'm going to leave that blank. But I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. And another reason to create an account, they give you more price history. And so I'm going to look at this. So the date for sale, so that was put on the market on 11/23/14. So I'm going to go ahead and note that in there. Oops, put that in the date listed. Now you'll notice in here that it was sold back in 2000. They're going to give you several dates in here. And you may even run into some instances where, say the house was put on the market in January and then it was taken off in March and then put back on the market again in April. In those cases, you want to go ahead and capture that January date. But if you see something like it was put on the market in, let's say January, and it was taken off in March, and then it wasn't put back on the market again until December, so several months later, sometimes even a year later, go ahead and capture that second date. So then at that point, I would put the December date and not the January date that was listed. Now, is there anything special about this house? So I'm just going to take a quick look at the house. So I got some nice pictures here. And, let's take a quick second. Notice how the kitchen's kind of all cleaned out here. Very few things. You don't want a bunch of stuff on your counters. Again, this is something I go over in my class, how to kind of semi-stage your home for the pictures. Everything's clean. Everything's well lit. They actually did a really good job taking these pictures here. They don't have any furniture, but, they did some nice touches. So, somebody's not living here, but in the bathroom, they put a plant here. They put some washcloths. They have another plant over here. So a lot of empty rooms, but a lot of natural light. So they're really, you can tell they took these pictures on a nice sunny day. So they added a few things on the walls to give the house some character. So they did a great job here with these pictures. All right, let's go back here. So there's nothing really special I'm going to list about that house. It didn't have let's double check. I don't think it had a pool. Nope, it looks like the community had a pool, but they don't have a pool. Let's do a quick read of the description here. And, it's got a large kitchen. That's nothing, nothing special in this particular area. The master suite also has a jacuzzi tub. Again, not a big deal. You're looking for big things, a pool, a foreclosure, a short sale, or something like that. So nothing else really to note there. So we would go back. The next thing I would do is click on save. Again, that's going to turn this into a little heart and let me know that I've already looked at this house here. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to just go street by street is what I typically do on the map. And so to get to the next one, I would just simply click on here and then start recording that. And sometimes it takes a few seconds for it to come up. All right, so you know how to go get the data. Let's talk about how to analyze the data. So this is some of the data that I gathered. This is real-time data here. And so I have the address here. I put in the various subdivisions. So you can see I have a mix of subdivisions in here. I got my pricing, square foot, and everything like that. So you'll notice, see, these are some of the notes I have, lots of upgrades, 2-story pool, brick. Brick's a good one to know because that usually makes a house sell for more. A foreclosure, lots of upgrades. So it's pretty generic here, nothing major. Over here, you can see similar. I put yes. Sometimes I'll put X's, but yes, just something to mark that, this is similar to my house and it's a good comparable house. Now, the next thing that I did is I highlighted the fields. So I actually didn't have the calculations in here. So I highlighted these fields. I'll just select the whole thing here, and I'm going to go to custom sort. So I'm going to sort filter, custom sort, and I sorted it by date sold first, and then by date listed. And what that did is it made sure that all my houses that had been sold in the past were at the top. All of them that are still for sale are at the bottom. So you can see there's no date sold there. So that put everything kind of in order for me. And then the ones that are still out there, it listed out by the date that it was listed here. So that puts all my information, and that's very important for looking at your trends. Next, I came over here, price per square foot. This was very easy. So I took the price, which was column D, divided by column E, which is the square feet. And that told me the price per square foot. And I just got rid of the decimals. So $100, $107. Now that information's interesting in itself, but over here where I go to average price per square foot, I'm going to look at trends. So I use the average calculation and then K2 to K6, so that's my price per square foot. So I'm looking at the average of the last 5. So $112, $116. So you can see here that there's a clear trend. So I have 112, 117, 119, 121, 130s. So I get a bump in pricing here. And so you can see the average price per square foot. I get a bump in pricing pretty much over the summer of 2014. And then it went back down. And then if I go back here, so I still have the average price per square foot I'm looking at, and I can see the listings. Now, if I want to just highlight and see everything that hasn't sold yet, I can highlight those, and a great thing about Excel is you can see your sum, your average, your count. So I see that my average is $131 here. So I'm going to see $131 is my average price per square foot for items that are on the market today. If I look at the last few that were sold, I can look at that and I see that it's $123. So, the average price per square foot has gone down. We were a little higher in the summer here and then went down as it came into the fall. So that's another important thing. So prices went up and then they're starting to come back down. So keep that in mind. So right now, based on this information, let's go look at the days on market. I'm sorry. So the next thing I did was I looked at the days on market. And this is a calculation of the date sold and date listed and the difference in days. So you can see 100 days, 106, 242, so 218. So there's a lot of variance here. So I want to look at averages. Again, I'm going to kind of come back here and over the last, let's see, what is this? So we have July and August months. We have an average of 123 days on market here. And so that's 4 months. And now the way Zillow works is your average or your days on market, they tell you when it's listed and when it was sold. When it's sold, that's when it's recorded at the county clerk's office. So it's not the day that they got the offer. So most closings are going to take roughly 60 days. And with that 60-day closing, that means that these people had their house on the market for about 2 months before they had an offer that they accepted. And if you look at, let's look at a couple things. So this $200, that was $138 a square foot. I mean, that's 200 days, I'm sorry. So that high of a price, it took much longer to sell. Now, if we look at this 82 days on market, that was only $101 per square foot. So as you can see here, you know, in some cases you're seeing that direct correlation of the lower the price is, the faster it sells. Again, you're going to have to, you know, look at your data, kind of digest it as well. Now, if so I noted my similar one. So let's just take a look at the similar. So I'm going to drop that down. I had my filters on, so I'm going to just say, give me all my similars. And I want to look just at those. Now, my price per square foot average on my similars was about 125. So overall, it's 131, but my similar houses are about 125. So that's what I want to target for my range. So let's say I have, let's see, these are almost 2,500 square foot houses. So let me bring up, let me grab my calculator here. All right, so say I have a 2,500 square foot house, let's say 2,502 because they're never exact, times 126. That's going to give me a listing price of $315. Now, if I did it at, so 2,502 times 131 a square foot, that's going to give me $327 or $328,000. So I know that, you know, from this research now, I know that my sweet spot to sell my house is going to be in the range of $315,000 to $327,000. So in this case, you know, if I'm looking at my house, let's see, I have a few upgrades in the house, but nothing major. So it's pretty close around average. I may go ahead and split that in the two. So say 120, let's say 129 a square foot. So 2,502 times 129 is 322,000. I'd want to list it just a little bit higher than that. Most people get 97, 98% of their asking price. So let's say if I did 330 times 0.97, that would give me 321,000 or 320,000. So I would probably list my house at 330,000 based off of this data. And with that information, you know, looking at these average days on market, you know, I'm just going to look at, let's just look at these calculations as a whole. We got 109 days on market and then 94 days on market recently. So if I'm a little bit higher, I'm, you know, right in the middle here as far as average number of days on market. So I would expect to sell my house in 3 to 4 months. So I would expect to have it on the market for 1 to 2 months before getting that offer that I accepted.